Welcome back to the Guy Dawson Show. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching live, you're watching on WCOBM.com, and we appreciate you for that. You can also check us out on YouTube and Facebook, and you can always binge watch us on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to the Guy Dawson Show on YouTube. It is my pleasure today to, for our next segment, to interview the infamous Guy Dawson.
Infamous.
Infamous for good things.
Well, thank you, Miss Corintha, Queen of all media. I always appreciate being interviewed by you.
Yes, yes. So for the folks out there, I know you always do a great job with telling folks how they can get a hold of you, but if you could just kind of give the folks out there a friendly reminder of how they can get a hold of you for your business.
Yes, if you'd like to bring greater recognition to your business and stimulate sales through high visibility and leveraging the power of mass media, you can get in contact with Classic Communications at 702-845-6129, or you can visit our website, classiccommunications.net. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and like the company page on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. We are all over the place, and that's really what we're here to talk about today, is the power of marketing. And specifically, I want to start talking about nonprofit organizations and how those can really help to raise awareness and help folks like you and folks and your clients really market their businesses. So can you talk to us about that?
Right. Well, Corintha, one of the things that I learned early on when I got started with the PR and advertising company back in 2008 is that it was one of the most important elements in creating a PR campaign for a business really is to have them partner with some type of a nonprofit organization, and it's just it makes good business sense, and it's also a real important way that you can contribute to your community. So I would start working with companies, and I would sit down with the owners after we had gotten started, and I would say, do you have anything that you're passionate about? Is there, and 9 times out of 10 business owners had things that they were doing. Maybe they were supporting a little league team, or they had been supporting breast cancer, all kinds of things that people are doing and not really realizing that they have a passion for it, and that their business is actually, the dollars that they're generating from their business is going towards supporting whatever this cause is. And so I would always tell them, hey, let's sit down and let's figure out ways that we can let the community know about your contribution to it. Because people like to do business with businesses that care about their communities. And so now they call it cause marketing. Back in 2008, they didn't have a name like that, but that's it. It's become what's known as cause marketing. You're hearing about it all the time now, where you have businesses that partner with nonprofit organizations, and it's definitely something that every business should consider. If you feel a purpose, if you feel a passion about something, and it's related to bettering your community, you should partner with one of those types of nonprofits.
There's other ways too that nonprofit organizations can help businesses, and I know that I've seen you do this with Classic Communications. But it's not just about kind of promoting that that sort of win-win situation, right? Where not only are you talking about how you support this nonprofit organization, but you're giving them marketing as well, and it's a win-win for both of you. But the other part of it is that there are times where nonprofit organizations have buildings or have resources that you can use as a business. Can you talk about how that happens?
Right. So one of the things that is important to understand is when you're in business is creativity, because you're always thinking creatively, because a business is like a never-ending puzzle that goes in all directions. If you can picture a puzzle and how you can, when you finish a puzzle, traditionally all your corners are locked in and all the pieces are locked in. Well, business is like nothing's locked in. It's just an ongoing puzzle that keeps going in 4 directions. Because of that, there's a creative aspect of it, and so working with organizations, particularly nonprofit organizations that have facilities that you can partner with. I know there's all kinds of things that are done with Opportunity Village, for example, here in Las Vegas. It's one of the big nonprofit organizations where they partner with all kinds of businesses out here to do things. The facilities have been built for the community. The businesses come in and promote the nonprofit organization, and they get to utilize the facilities, and it all basically comes back to a win-win situation whenever you talk about cause marketing. And that's why I think it's becoming so popular, and I think what millennials are really, really into this, and I appreciate them for their commitment to doing things that have a cause. And so I think that the value of this type of marketing is only going to increase.
Absolutely. No, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think that there's a lot more, I feel like sometimes millennials, that that label kind of gets a bad name, or they don't like to be even referred to as millennials, because they think of all the bad stereotypes, like, oh, they're always on their phone, or they're, very non-communicative, or they have bad communication skills because everything they do is online. And it's not necessarily the case. A lot of the younger generations that are coming up are now much more passionate about causes, and and I kind of want to relate this to events, and causes, and of course you have these causes, right, that you're passionate about. You have events that you organize. Now I'm a millennial. Now I've got an event that I want to organize around my cause, and I want to come to you, Guy Dawson. What do I do? What does that look like?
Right. So we really just sit down and figure out, number one, the direction. What is it that you hope to achieve? It's just, an event is no different than any other marketing strategy, really. Is the number one thing that we do is we get very specific on what your objectives are. What is it that you want to achieve? I mean, your objective could be, we want to throw a party and we want to have a good time. Woo! And of course,
I'm down with that.
That's always the objective.
That sounds like a fraternity or sorority, honestly.
But of course, there's even these events that we do, and I know, Corintha, we worked on one a couple of months ago. We did an event called Businesses with Heart, which my company's been partnering with a nonprofit organization for a couple of years on this particular event, and it benefits a nonprofit organization out here that protects animals. But before we get started, and the same thing I would do with any other business, is we really get targeted on, who's going to be affected, how are they going to be affected, what are the pieces to the puzzle, because it's a puzzle. It starts out as a never-ending puzzle. The great thing about an event is that there's an end, because eventually the event is over, and you fill in all the pieces, which is, excuse me, different than what I was telling you before about running a business where it goes on and on. So we put the pieces together, we create a framework in the back end for how to run the event, because that's really important. I think that makes all the difference in the world. Is sometimes you go to events and you think, boy, that was a really well-run event. I mean, everything's on time, and all the details are taken care of. It's just very structured. And then sometimes you'll go to an event and you'll say, wow, how disorganized things were. Mm-hmm. And I think usually that's caused, I don't even think it, I know it, when things don't run well, the structure in the back end, the creation of that event wasn't done correctly from the very beginning. So we spend a lot of time on that, really paying attention to details. Being in Toastmasters and running events has taught me a lot about that, about how you have to pay attention to the details, and everything has to be thought through before you do it. And then you have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you create an environment of structure that you can have fun in.
That's a really good way to look at events marketing. And, I feel like a lot of that, I'm glad you brought up Toastmasters, because I was even thinking about that. Like, I didn't realize the experience that I got being a part of Toastmasters in terms of, I had to help run a competition or a contest. That's events marketing right there. That's putting the event together. That's coordinating with certain people and making sure you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, So that's true. And I also think too about, not just about Toastmasters, but events marketing itself. Do you feel like it's something that you could go to any marketing company for, or do you feel like there's just certain people who are going to know how to do it better than others? Is it something that you can learn to do as a skill set, or do you feel like it's something that you naturally just need to know how to do?
I think some people do have a natural affinity, like our friend Amanda.
Oh, yes.
Ayers has a really, I think she just naturally has probably, I mean, I'm sure she's developed it, but I think that some people do have a natural affinity to do things a little bit better than others. That doesn't mean that you can't learn how to do it. It's really a script, Corintha. It really is. When you create the script and you have lists, you follow the lists, and when everybody is accountable for the part that they play in making it come together with Businesses with Heart, we worked on that for a couple of months. We didn't put a whole lot of time into it because we've been running them for a while, so we're kind of, we've gotten it down to an extent how things go, but when you have that, a system that is in place that you've developed, or sometimes you don't even have to reinvent the wheel. Nowadays, you could probably go on YouTube and they could give you a full tutorial about how to run an event. And but yes, some people are just they're just naturally creative, and they think like that. They're wired like that to be very good at event planning. I have a cousin, and she's just amazing. It's just the way that her mind thinks and the way that she looks at something, how to design a table and where to put things. I don't know if I just think she has a kind of an upper hand on the average person because she's wired that way. So we're all wired to do certain things better than others. I do believe that. Not that you can't learn how to do things, but
true.
Michael Jordan was a great basketball player. I mean, he had an unbelievable amount of natural ability. I mean, not everybody will ever learn how to jump like that, and so you have to. I'm really about playing to your strengths. And we all have areas of our lives that we are stronger, far superior to other people in.
Definitely. I agree with you there, and I also believe that, while I think all of us have this ability to learn how to do the events planning and marketing, I think that it's really powerful. It's a really powerful skill set to have, especially being in the PR marketing business you're in, because there are folks who are going to come to you and say, I have this event, and I don't know what to do. Help me.
Right. Corintha, 9 times out of 10, it's not so much the event that they don't know how to do, it's how to market the event. The marketing is the challenge. Just like in all other businesses, the biggest challenge 9 times out of 10 is just that they don't know how to market. How do we go about getting the word out about it? I mean, if it's something like a family event where you're just going to send out some invitations to your family or friends or something like that, that doesn't require marketing. But if you're wanting to reach the public, to reach out to people who wouldn't ordinarily not know anything about you, there are certain strategies that you have to use in order to reach out to them. Of course, nowadays we have social media, and I'm a real big believer in email marketing, and of course we have things like these shows, the radio show and the TV show. These are all platforms and ways to get the word out, but there are strategies to marketing. And this is where a lot of businesses I see, they have challenges, is that people think that they understand their business, but sometimes they don't know how to market their business. They may really understand how to run it, but understanding how to get the word out about it is a completely different story. And I see a lot of very talented business people who run good businesses who just suffer from the marketing aspect because they don't get that part. So that's where Classic Communications comes in, is that marketing is something I'm thinking about in PR all day, every day, because this is what I talk to people about it. It's just like when you're running your business and you're doing it all day, all the time, you know it better than anyone else. And so that's the advantage to come into a company like Classic Communications, is that we know how to get the word out about it. If it's something bigger and you want the world to know about it, we have both the platforms and the expertise and the experience from I've worked on a lot of shows since I've been running this company and worked with a lot of people on them. And because we have that advantage, it puts you in a position to have better attendance and create better results.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to know that the folks in not just Las Vegas, but all over the nation, all over the world, really, can utilize Guy Dawson and the skills, the skill sets that you've learned, and what you do with Classy Communications. I think it's interesting because folks have heard you talk about marketing in terms of marketing their business, but that's just one small aspect of what you do. You help them to market their events. You help them to market so many more aspects of their businesses and their industries and what they do. So I think that it was really, really helpful for you to talk about that today.
Yeah, we do as a business. We have a focus on doing PR and advertising for businesses, but I've worked with all kinds of people, athletes and different types of people through the years on these strategies, because a public relations company is so multifaceted. Mm-hmm. When you, in terms of the things we do, we do the things that you would associate with a PR company, and that would be things like writing press releases, articles, appearances, getting people on radio, television, and things like that. But then we have a lot of other things that you wouldn't necessarily think would be related to a PR company, such as media training. Mm. So what we do is we bring people in, I do, and we teach them how to perform in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, how to compose yourself, how to deal with questions.
So I can't just pick my nose. I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
If you pick your nose, YouTube is going to have it forever.
I know. That's scary.
Right, but these are things that it's a reality. So Corintha and I have been doing media training for about 5 or 6 months now, basically. Haven't we been?
Oh yeah, it's been an interesting experience because you can't just walk in here and just expect to just be the most amazing person ever on television. Oh, okay, I nailed it, done. It doesn't work like that. You have to be on top of your game. You have to be constantly thinking in your head, what am I going to say next? Anticipating the next question. Keeping the conversation in the rhythm. There really is like a rhythm, I feel like, that, in a flow to the show. And you have to keep it going. And, and kind of coax it in the direction that you want to go as a host. But you want to really let your guests shine also. You want to be the person that is allowing them to speak for themselves and really get their messages out there without, stomping all over them.
Yeah, and we've seen interviews like that before, yes, where the interviewer has a tendency to step on the person.
Like me right now? No, don't do that, audience.
If she wasn't the queen of all media, I would be upset. But no, it is a skill, being in media, and so people out there, if you are thinking about becoming a host of a radio show or something like that, I would spend a lot of time with you, sit down with you, and show you some of the strategies that I've learned to be effective as a co-host. I've been working with Corintha for several months. All of you are basically watching this unfold in front of you every week, her evolution into becoming someone who is very, very good at interviewing people. And so this is the way that it works. It doesn't always work exactly like this, where they're week after week having an opportunity to be in the studio, but there are a lot of other things that I do that prepare people for media. I have a couple of basketball players up at Stanford, and they're the Allen twins, and they came and worked with me last summer. Their mother wanted to prepare them to be interviewed when they played games in the NCAA, and so I spent a few weeks with them last summer just working with them on, hey, this is how you answer questions, this is how you look at the person when they're interviewing you, this is the way you make eye contact. Always make eye contact, because that's so important. It shows that you have integrity when you at least make an effort to make eye contact with people. And it was just all kinds of things that we worked on, and they got a lot out of it. Their mother really appreciated the time that I spent with them, and so there's just so many aspects to public relations and marketing, and we talk about quite a few of them on this show, but it's this is what I'm all about. I love it. I love marketing and getting the word out about other people.
Absolutely. I feel like it's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, you just find your thing. You find your thing that you're going to do. I was doing a radio show, I think it was yesterday, and I was talking about this, and my wish for everyone out there is, Find a thing that you really love to do and do that. Please do that, because I see so many people who are miserable in their lives, and it's a shame. And 9 times out of 10, it's because they're doing something that they don't really want to do. And they're doing it for the money or for survival. And is that really worth it? Find a thing that you love to do and find a way to make money doing it.
Absolutely.
That's what I would recommend.
Absolutely. Sage advice from a very wise, a seasoned professional, but who looks like he's, only been in the business for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's right. I'm only 20 years old, and I've been in business 8 years.
That's right. That's right. So with that, we want to thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for watching the Guy Dawson Show. Make sure to subscribe and watch us on YouTube and all of our other social media channels. And thank you so much for joining us today. We thank you.